Hi, Mbh Recapped here. Today I'm going to explain an American horror thriller film called Old. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care, it's time to get shyamalan. At the start of the movie, the Kappa family gets invited to a resort for a holiday trip. The parents, Guy and Prisa, have never heard of the resort before, but nonetheless they are excited. Once they reach it, the entire staff greets them, including the manager himself, a woman that arrives and gives them welcome drinks. After a while, she leads the kids, Trent and Maddox, outside. While several other people are chilling at the candy station, the kids meet Idlib, the manager's nephew. Trent immediately befriends him and the two start exploring the place. Meanwhile, Maddox and her parents get into their bathing suits and have a fun time on the beach. At first glance, it appears as if the family is about to have the time of their lives. However, little do they, in La La Land, the city of Los Angeles serves as a backdrop and a central character in the story. The film celebrates the city's vibrant energy, while also acknowledging its cutthroat competition and constant struggle for success. The bright lights, bustling crowds, and endless possibilities of Los Angeles serve as both a source of inspiration and a source of frustration for Mia and Sebastian. The film's musical numbers are both nostalgic and contemporary, blending classic Hollywood musical styles with modern musical influences. The musical numbers serve to further the story, while also providing a visual and emotional showcase of the film's themes. The film's memorable soundtrack and catchy tunes have contributed to its lasting popularity. Another noteworthy aspect of the film is its cinematography. The film's use of vibrant colors and stunning visuals is a tribute to the Hollywood musicals of the past, while also pushing the genre forward with its modern visual style. The film's sweeping shot, it will not be less than a monster. They are desiring to take science at advanced level. After working, Victor and Igor move to a party, where Igor meets the same pretty girl, who was shown in the circus at the beginning. That girl cannot recognize him, but Igor is still in love with her. Here Victor suggests him to keep away from that girl. He tells that girl is a distraction for you. Focusing on her, you will not be able to concentrate on your work. Anyhow, they come back to their house. Here the chimpanzee first time comes on the scene. It is chained with the different electric wires. Now it is the time to pass the electricity. Electricity is passed through this dead chimpanzee, so that it may revive. Igor is being confused here, but he is relaxed when a dead chimpanzee starts moving. It means that their experiment has succeeded. Next day, Victor Frankenstein brings that chimpanzee into his university to prove his science. Little hurdles are faced. Chimpanzee begins to attack from side to side as it revives. It starts hurting the people. So Victor kills his own made creature chimpanzee. Victor is thrown out by his university, because he has applied unconventional methods. There are also his classmates who are aristocratic. They say to Victor, "We will fund you. Continue these experiments." Tighter could have something to do with the dead naked body on the beach. This could be the start of a problem for little Trent. Charles's mother Agnes also says that she is having difficulties in breathing. Sensing that something bad is happening, Charles tries calling for help, but there is no signal in the area. Just then the couple from earlier, the Carmichaels, arrives there. They have also been dropped off by the driver on the resort manager's orders. The terrified group immediately briefs them on the situation, and hence the husband Jaron decides to stop the driver from leaving. However, as soon as he runs inside the cavern, he falls unconscious. A few seconds later he wakes up on the beach with a bad headache. Everyone is confused by what just happened, but before they can investigate it, they learn that Agnes has stopped breathing. The group immediately rushes to her and Charles tries his best to resuscitate his mother. Unfortunately, all of his efforts go in vain. Meanwhile, the Carmichaels are talking to the Kappa kids to distract them. Yaron, the boy his age, to which Trent replies 6. The Carmichaels find it hard to believe as he looks considerably older. Just then Prisa arrives at the scene and is stunned to see her children. Miraculously they have aged by a few years, making them impossible to recognize. Seeing the chaos unfolding around him, Sedan makes a run for it and Charles chases after him. However, as soon as they reach the caravan they black out and regain consciousness back on the beach. Witnessing all of this, a worried Prisa asserts that they should find another way out of the place. Unfortunately, every time one of them gets near the large canyon they lose consciousness and end up on the beach again. This means that they are trapped for good with two dead bodies around them. To make matters worse, the children are aging so rapidly that it will be difficult to find new clothes for them. We're gonna have to see our kids naked. Panic sets in and the adults start brainstorming on what to do next. The Cappies believe that a virus is causing all the anomalies, while Charles, who has started becoming paranoid, makes a cut on Sedan's face with a knife. Someone's got to call Charles out on his racism. Surprisingly, the cut gets healed instantly, almost as if it never existed. After a while, Maddox takes Sedan away and asks him the truth about the place. The latter promises that he's as clueless as they are. As the two get comfortable talking, Sedan reveals that he suffers from a rare condition which stops his blood from clotting. Meanwhile, the adults also discover that the girl they found dead on the beach was suffering from sclerosis. Just then Priestess starts losing her senses and soon falls to the ground. It turns out she is suffering from a tumor, and this is the main reason why her marriage with Guy was falling apart. Before they arrived on the beach it was a tiny tumor, but now it has grown to become the size of a tennis ball. With time running out, Charles decides to perform a surgery with the knife he has. However, as soon as he makes an incision it heals instantly, just like it did with Sedan. To make matters worse, Charles starts talking to himself. Before arriving at the beach he had displayed symptoms of schizophrenia, but now the disease is taking over him. Nice try, Charles, we know you're just racist. Fortunately the rest of the group helps him snap out of it so that he can continue with the operation. Charles then makes another cut near Priest's abdomen, and this time everyone holds the opening so that it doesn't heal. They only release it after Charles takes out the giant tumor, and as soon as the wound heals Prisa regains consciousness. She is no longer sick now. Unfortunately, their happy moment doesn't last long as they realize that the dead woman from earlier has now turned into dust and bones. Her body has been taken out only a few hours ago, but somehow it has completely decomposed. Prisa, who is a museum curator, examines the bones and explains that something like this takes at least 7 years to decompose. This is when the group finally realizes that time is moving faster on this beach. Prisa calculates it precisely and concludes that half an hour here is equivalent to a full year in human life. Elsewhere, the kids Trent and Kara are seen munching on the remaining food. When they return, everyone is shocked to see them all grown up. Not only that Kara is heavily pregnant with a child they must have had sex like 7 seconds ago. Realizing that she may give birth any time now, Charles and the others lay her down and prepare to get the baby out. Crystal also wants to be with her daughter, but she passes out due to anxiety. When she wakes up she finds that the Kara has given birth to a baby, but it is now dead. Time moved so fast for the baby that it didn't even get a chance to consume food and build its muscles. Trent looks at all this and becomes confused, as despite being a grown-up he still thinks like a 6-year-old. On the other hand, Charles has started to lose it. In one instance he threatens Jaren to go away, while in another he tells his wife to put on makeup, saying she looks ugly. Charles eventually crosses the limit when he grabs Sedan and repeatedly stabs him with a knife. The poor rapper doesn't even get a chance to heal due to his condition, which prevents blood from clotting. Devastated, Jaren decides to cross the waves and call for help, saying risking his life is better than dying here. Slowly after he leaves, Guy slowly takes the knife away from Charles, who at this point is become totally paranoid. Seeing this, he suddenly realizes something all the families that arrived at the beach had something in common. At least one of their members was suffering from an ailment. For instance, Prisa had a tumor, Charles was suffering from racism, Sedan had a rare blood condition, and the dead woman was suffering from multiple sclerosis. Guy then asks his wife where she got the invitation card. Prisa reveals that she got it on a random sweepstakes which was on the back of her pharmacy receipt. This concludes that the resort owners already knew their medical histories. In the next scene, when Maddox goes for a swim, she comes across a dead body. It is revealed to be fit of urine. Thank God I couldn't pronounce that guy's name. He must have blacked out inside the water and drowned, similar to what happened to the woman from earlier. Seeing him, Patricia cries in agony while the remaining group becomes even more devastated as they have literally nowhere to escape. However, Kara does not want to give up so easily. She decides to climb up the canyon and almost succeeds in it. Unfortunately, just as she reached the top, she blacks out and falls to her death. Seconds later, Patricia starts convulsing violently and she passes away too. In this way, 2 more corpses are added to the collection. Soon the day turns into night and the Kappa couple slowly starts losing their senses. At this point they can't even recall why they are trying to leave this beautiful place. On the other hand, their children have unearthed a book which apparently belonged to the people that came before them. In it, the names of all the people are mentioned along with their addresses and ailments. Just then Trent's attention is diverted by a light coming from the top of a hill. On a closer look, he finds out that it is a camera. This means that someone is inspecting them closely. Meanwhile, Charles, who has become a ticking time bomb, slowly approaches Guy to finish him off. The latter cannot see it because he has become nearly blind. Soon Charles lunges at him and starts slashing his body with a knife. Preset is just nearby, but she cannot hear it as she has become deaf. However, when she eventually finds out what's going on, she grabs a rusty knife and attacks Charles with it. She manages to make a small cut on his arms, but this is enough to kill him as the rust immediately enters his veins. Elsewhere, the siblings slowly enter the cave where they run into an aging Crystal. She doesn't want anyone to see her hideous face, so she tries killing the children with rocks. However, when she tries picking up a big one, her bones break. It immediately heals, but in the wrong direction, deforming her. Crystal dies a painful death shortly after. After the commotion ends, it is only the Kappa family that is standing. They regroup near the beach for one last time, and Guy emotionally says that he loves his family a lot. Saying this, he passes away. Prisa also succumbs to her old age. Soon the children are distraught as without their parents they are helpless. The next morning they wake up in their late 40s knowing that they will also end up like their parents. Trent and Maddox decide to spend the remainder of their time playing. They start making sand castles, and this is when Trent remembers that the resort manager's nephew Idlib had given him a puzzle to solve. Since they have a lot of time, Trent brings out the puzzle and eventually deciphers it. It reads, "My uncle doesn't like the coral." With this message, the siblings realize that the coral has all the answers to their questions. Hence, without wasting any time, they dive into the water and head to the coral. Soon they come across an underwater tunnel, and as they try to get through it, Maddox's dress gets stuck on a piece of coral. The scene then cuts to a man observing the beach from the hills. He is none other than M. Night Shyamalan himself. His twists are getting so powerful that he's injecting himself into his own films. What will he do next? What will he do next? What will he do? But actually he is none other than the driver who dropped the families off there. After confirming that everyone is dead, he calls his boss and briefs him on the situation. Then he packs his belongings and leaves. Following this, we are taken to a lab where several prominent scientists are researching different medicines. The resort manager is also there, and he tells everyone that Trial 73 is over here. He also reminds them that because of this beach they have been able to save millions of lives using their medicine. You would think after 73 trials he wouldn't have to give this speech anymore. Here we get to know that the resort is actually a sham for a medicine company. They use the beach to conduct clinical trials on people so that they can get the results in a matter of minutes as opposed to years. The welcome drinks that they provide to the guests are actually mixed with trial medicines for their particular illnesses. Elsewhere, we see the Kappa siblings who have somehow managed to survive the deadly waves. They are now back in the resort with the notebook they found on the beach. Soon they find a police officer who is also on holiday and tell them everything that happened to make him understand. The siblings even hand him the notebook which has the list of all the missing people. The cop makes some calls and concludes that the people are actually missing. The fact that there is a capable policeman in this movie is the real twist. In the final scene, the medical lab is busted and all the scientists are taken into custody. As for the Kappa siblings, they are escorted home in a chopper. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.